Never a shortage of conspiracy theorists claiming cash. Not my comment, the comment of Tricky216 here. Now, this was left in response to my previous video talking about the two court cases that are going against AstraZeneca for payouts for what they say is damage caused to them by the vaccine. Now, this comment here, conspiracy theorists claiming cash. Now, once upon a time, many people criticizing the vaccine way back a couple of years ago, many people criticizing the vaccine would have been labeled conspiracy theorists, and anybody speaking out against the vaccine might have been labeled conspiracy theorists. However, there was always a degree of uncertainty about these vaccines. And you might remember when I was talking about these vaccines over on Black Belt Barrister, because remember, we're here on Black Belt Secrets, so please do pop that subscribe button. I'd like to continue growing. We're just about to tip over 100,000, so I'm really grateful to you all for that. When I was talking about the vaccine over on Black Belt Barrister, during lockdown and everything else, which is where that channel was born, I was never really open about my personal views about the vaccine. Just that it is an uncertainty, there is always risk, and you take your risk, you balance your risk, you choose to have it, you choose not to have it. There were rules imposed. Many people broke those rules. Some people say the rules didn't work, and perhaps some studies might show that the rules didn't work, and so on. And there's been lots of research and study since then, and lo and behold, thing that has a risk now shows that there's a risk. But comments like this that seek to criticize anyone that speaks against something like this, no doubt Tricky216 now thinks I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I'm here to prove you wrong on that. But the bit that I really object to is comments like this. Not that it bothers me. I bring it to you for entertainment purposes and calling it out. You see, there's a difference between calling someone out for making a rude comment and being bothered by the rude comment. So when someone says, thought you'd be better than this, what they mean is they're trying to have a pop to say, you know, you should be better than this, you should be above this, you should be, you know, more intelligent or whatever, so that you shouldn't be criticizing this thing. That's what they mean when they say, thought you'd be better than this. Well, actually, I always look at facts and research and this sort of stuff to justify what I say, or at least to justify what my views are. Because if I want to hold a view about something, then it needs to be based on something, based on fact and research. So otherwise, I don't feel that that view is valid. But here, about this comment here, suggesting that conspiracy theorists claiming cash, let's unpack that and break that down. What they mean is that some people are conspiracy theorists saying that they've been injured by the vaccine and therefore claiming cash. So it suggests that they're being disingenuous. But let's take a look at something here, which is of interest. The vaccine damage payment. Now, as I mentioned in my previous video, these are one-off tax-free payments of £120,000. And then there's an eligibility criteria here. So let's take a look at this so you can see for yourself. This is what my discussion on this subject is based on. And I'll come back to why there are cases going to court if this is available in a moment. And I might go into a bit more detail over on Black Belt Barrister, so make sure you pop over there and subscribe there as well. But eligibility, you could get a payment if you're severely disabled and your disability was caused by a vaccination against any of the following diseases. So COVID-19 and vaccination thereof is only one of a number of different things that are vaccinated against, that if you receive and then you are disabled as a result of this, you may be eligible for a payout. So this not just includes COVID-19, but diphtheria and influenza, measles, all sorts of other different things here, smallpox, tetanus, TB. You may have had a combined vaccination against a number of these diseases listed. For example, you might have been vaccinated against DTP or MMR, measles, mumps, etc. And it also provides that you may also be able to get a payment if you're severely disabled because either your mother was vaccinated against one of the diseases while she was pregnant, you've been in close physical contact with someone who's had an oral vaccine, and you can also apply for this payment on behalf of someone who's died after becoming severely disabled because of one of the vaccinations. And then it goes on to discuss what severely disabled means. This means at least 60% disabled. Now, these are not just going to be walk into your GP and say, I think I'm 60% disabled, therefore give me the money, as this comment fairly rudely suggests over here. But it will go through a vigorous process of assessment. Anyone that's been through any kind of medical assessment for any kind of benefit payment will know the extent to which they go through to assess your level of disability, the level of need and care that you have. And so this payment has been around for a long time. And this £120,000 payout now covers the COVID vaccine. And it's worth bearing in mind that this payment can affect benefits and entitlements like income support, working tax credit, pensions, housing, council tax reductions, and this whole list here. So these payments are made where someone is assessed to be at least 60% disabled as a result of any one of those diseases that they've been vaccinated against, which includes coronavirus. Now, why is all this interesting? Well, because as I remind you that Tricky 216 thinks that anyone claiming this is a conspiracy theorist and thinks that I would be better than this than to talk about this. But these are real things. These are real situations. Let's look at some real numbers. Now, there are thousands of people that have made claims in respect of coronavirus and claiming under this scheme. And it's the numbers that have actually been paid out that are quite extraordinary. Now, just to preface the information that I'm about to give you, this information was obtained by a Freedom of Information request to the NHS, released on the NHS Open Data Portal, which provides answers because obviously public body will answer to Freedom of Information requests to provide this information, and they were asked the following questions. Please, can you provide a breakdown of the ages of those making a claim to the Vaccine Damage Payment Scheme for an injury due to COVID-19 vaccine by the following ages, and then provided those groups, which I'll come to in a moment. And the second question was a breakdown of those awarded the vaccine in those age ranges as above. So these figures that I'm going to provide you are official figures from the NHS obtained from an FOI. So let's take a look at that breakdown. Between the ages of 0 and 17, 29 people made a claim. It's not to say they were successful. I'll come back to that in a moment. 29 people up to the age of 18 made a claim for a vaccine damage payment under that scheme. Between the ages of 18 and 29, 556 people made a claim. Between the ages of 30 and 39, 1,171 people made a claim. Between the ages of 40 and 49, 1,499 people made a claim. Between the ages of 50 and 59, 1,871 people made a claim. And between the ages of 60 and 65, a shorter age range this time, 885 people. And anybody over the age of 66, 1,354 people made a claim. So in total, according to these figures, over 7,000 people made a claim. But, as you could probably guess, not all of those were successful. Let's break down the successful claims according to the NHS Open Data Portal for one of these payouts. Up to the age of 18, 0 people had a claim payout under this scheme. Bearing in mind, remember the criteria that they must be 60% disabled, they'll go through an assessment, and so on. Between the ages of 18 and 29, so the second youngest pool of claimants, just 8 people, they were paid each £120,000. So a total in that category of £960,000 paid between the ages of 18 and 29. directly in response to a claim that they were injured, disabled from the COVID vaccine. So this is not conspiracy theory stuff. These are actual statistics. And I said I'll come back to the court claim in a moment. Between the ages of 30 and 39, 16 people were successfully paid out to the tune of £1.9 million. Between the ages of 40 and 49, there was a jump. 37 people were paid out to the tune of £4.4 million. Between the ages of 50 and 59, so anyone in their 50s, 44 people were paid out to the tune of £5.2 million. Between 60 and 65, 24 people with £2.8 million paid out. And anybody over 66, 19 people were paid out £2.2 million. A total of £17.7 million paid out under the vaccine damage payment scheme due to an injury due to COVID-19 vaccines. So as I said, this is not conspiracy theory nonsense stuff. I am better than that. I don't do that. Anyone that knows me personally, some of you do, anyone that knows me personally will know that I don't buy into conspiracy theory stuff. What I do is I retain an open mind. Here we're on Black Belt Secrets, so you will get my personal views. Over on Black Belt Barrister, you get my legal analysis and my legal views. But whether it's a legal analysis or view or my personal view, I don't buy into conspiracy stuff. I retain an open mind. I assess the information given to me, and I look at the data. I look at the information. I speak to people and professionals that I know. I know doctors and surgeons and people that I really trust, and I say, what do you think about all of this? And they will, of course, read lots of studies and have a much better understanding of it than I. And they tell me what their views are. They have concerns. They know the risks. They weigh up the risks, the pros, the cons. And even many of them are not always sure as to what the real risks are, because we don't know yet. We only know what has come out in the statistics, which is why the AstraZeneca vaccine was restricted by age at a certain point because of that risk. However small the risk, 0. whatever percent it was, there was a risk there. And so this is not conspiracy theory. These are facts. This is a factual table of data of money that's being paid out as a result of injuries due to these vaccines. So why the court cases? Well, in short, the two cases that are coming forward against AstraZeneca are to say that this payment is not enough. In fact, there are calls to say that these payments are just insufficient. Picture for a moment somebody is severely disabled and needs care for the rest of their life, or let's say, they go blind or they can't talk anymore, all sorts of other different disabilities that they might have as a result of these things. Any of those will need care and will have the quality of their life impacted for the rest of their life. And the only way we can measure damage and compensate for damage is money or an order for care. But usually money pays for the care, and so it's usually in an amount of money, as in monetary damages, general and special, different categories. I'll go over to those in Black Belt Barrister, but it is assessed in a term of damages. You've probably heard me speak before on my Black Belt Barrister channel about doing infant settlement hearings, whereby the court cannot agree on a settlement for a child without it coming to court, without counsel giving their opinions and having that, I'll say discussion. It's not really an argument. Well, it is an argument. It's a legal argument, but the court will rule based on having all of that information, and the court makes the determination that a party can accept this settlement on behalf of a child. And so that is the way these are assessed, and by payout of monetary damages. So conspiracy theory, this is not, but there will be more to come. These cases that will come to court will bring a requirement of disclosure on all of the documents that are behind these vaccines, and unless they are settled early, in which case it won't come to court, then it will be heard in full in court. And we'll find out a lot more. So I hope you found that interesting. I'm going to do some more research on it, and I will come back and give you some more of my views on it when I've done that. So if you would like to hear those, please do hit the subscribe button and the like button and share it and watch one of these videos next, because that helps YouTube to spread my videos to a wider audience. In the meantime, I thank you for watching.